Hello, Vikings, and welcome to the Monroe Library Podcast. My name is Mrs. Ostadillo, and I am your librarian. This is where you come to invest in your brain, learn about books, and explore innovative ideas. Let's go ahead and dive into today's episode. Today we'll be focused on the book, The House of the Scorpion, written by Nancy Farmer. Here's a brief synopsis of the book. To most people around him, Matt is not a boy, but a beast. Matt grew up in a room full of chicken litter with cockroaches for friends and old chicken bones for toys, which he is happy with since he does not know the difference. But for El Patron, lord of the country called Opium, a strip of poppy fields lying between the United States and what was once called Mexico, Matt is a guarantee of eternal life. El Patron loves Matt as he loves himself, for Matt is himself. They share identical DNA. At this coming-of-age party, Mateo Alcatran asks El Patron's bodyguard, "How old am I?" "I know I don't have a birthday like humans, but I was born." "You were harvested," Tam Lin reminds him. "You were grown in that poor cow for 9 months, and then you were cut out of her." In The House of the Scorpion, the author Nancy Farmer tells the story of Matt, the clone of 142-year-old El Patron, dictator of Opium, a country between the United States and Aslan. In Opium, clones have one purpose: to extend the lives of those whose DNA they possess by providing them with a source for spare parts. The brains of most other clones are destroyed at birth, but Matt's is left intact on the order of El Patron. At the beginning of the novel, Matt knows none of these things. He is cared for in isolation by El Patron's cook, Celia, who loves him. He only becomes aware that he is different from other people when he becomes a resident at El Patron's estate, where he is viewed not as human, but as an unclean animal without a soul. Matt is educated and lives in luxury, but is looked on with disgust by most of the estate's inhabitants. The exceptions are Celia, El Patron's bodyguard, Tam Lin, and Maria, one of the children who discovered him. These 3 people see humanity in him and teach him to be a good person. Farmer does a skilled job of creating the world that Matt lives in, from the cloning technology to the old-fashioned ways on the estate, which is designed to replicate the Mexico of El Patron's youth over 100 years ago. El Patron has made his fortune capturing Mexicans attempting to cross the border into the United States and using them to grow opium. To ensure that they do not escape, implants in their brains make them completely devoid of free will, to the extent that they will not eat or drink without being told to do so. The threat of being turned into one of these called Egypts is sufficient to allow El Patron to control others. The reader's interest is sustained by discovering, along with Matt and from his point of view, the workings in opium, his purpose in life, and his fate. With the help of Cecilia and Tam Lin, he escapes to Aslan, where he is no longer treated as subhuman, but is captured and forced to labor with other orphans under the control of guards called keepers, who relentlessly practice behavioral control methods to keep the young workers at the plankton factory in line. This is a coming-of-age story with a twist. The House of Scorpion is a chilling story because Farmer portrays a world that just may be possible. Cloning is already in reality. There are people in today's world just as invisible to the larger society as orphans. Child slavery exists. Environmental degradation is occurring. Matt's escape from his future as a clone gives the reader hope that good will prevail in the world as well. Matt's story turns out to be an inspiring tale of friendship, survival, hope, and transcendence. A must-read for teenage science fiction fantasy fans. This book kept me on the edge of my seat. I could not put it down until I was finished. I highly recommend this book. If you are interested in reading it, come by the Monroe Library with your student ID and check it out. I hope you have enjoyed this podcast and look forward to sharing books, ideas, and Viking student voices.